Hey gang, today we're hunting Deathgaze in Final Fantasy VI, or Doomgaze as it was called in the original version. A few important things to keep in mind. Most importantly, our purple demonic buddy doesn't heal from battle to battle. He might flee a few times, but keep finding him and fighting him and finding and fighting, and eventually you'll kill him. So how do you find Deathgaze? Well, look for a black orb that marks the encounter. It's fixed on the map. Just zoom around in your airship and that will stay put. Lastly, remember, this is only true if you're at the wheel of the Falcon. If you land the airship or view your party midair, Deathgaze jumps to another random location. You gotta find him again. Oh, and you may want Strago in the party when you run into him to learn some lore spells or blue magic. There's level 5 Death, which is not super useful. It's really just for completionists, but worth snagging if you miss it on the floating continent. Thankfully, you don't have to get murdered by the Death spell to learn it. As for Arrow, it's expensive MP-wise, but a pretty good offensive spell and one of the few wind magics out there. So I'm level 31 and 32 here with a group. Notice no multiples of 5 to avoid that death spell. And the fight isn't easy, but it's also not so hard you get wiped out repeatedly. I think the Bahamut Magicite is worth getting as soon as possible from Deathgaze, so don't sleep on it. I think around level 30 is the sweet spot. As I mentioned, Deathgaze is a chicken, and he runs off eventually, but if you're curious or just bored, you can always cast Libra, or Scan as it was called back in the Super Nintendo days. Notice I started this combat right now, but his HP is not full thanks to previous encounters. So lather, rinse, repeat until Deathgaze is no more. Grab yourself some Magicite. Bahamut teaches Flare, which is a must-have spell, and it also gives you a 50% boost to your max HP at level up. So there you go, gamers. Happy hunting.